I've made a couple essay type videos recently, and I feel like an overwhelming theme was how FPV is switching from a small niche hobby to more of a mainstream one, and some of the negativity that comes with that. But after reading a ton of comments from all y'all, I realized that there's a ton of new people just finding out about FPV or just finally taking the plunge and joining the hobby. And they don't give a shit if we had more analog VTX options back in the day, or that every new bind and fly is some weird like micro Cineboot pusher style. They just want to rip. They just found FPV, it's exciting as hell, and they just want to fly. So today I want to do something a little bit different. Instead of complaining about the state of FPV, I want to talk about everything positive that's going on today. Let's just start with video quality. I mean, fuck DJI, the company and all that, right? This is a positive video. Compare the 03 to a Crazy Pony VTX from 2016, and it's not even in the same league. Shit, even the new HD0 Eco VTX and camera is 1,000 times better than, oh, what the hell? One of the most important things in FPV is the V. If you can't V, then you can't do that. Hang on, wait a second. So right out of the gate, when we're talking about things going good for the future of FPV, I think advancements in video are one of the biggest things. Going from analog to digital opened up a whole new path for our video systems to take. We have DJI, Walksnail, HD0 commercially available, and then on the DIY side, you have things like OpenIPC as well as Ruby FPV. Plus, OpenIPC and Ruby do look like they keep getting better and better every day. Speaking of that, I think it's really cool to see these open source HD video projects taking off. I mean, even though they are community based, so you're gonna have to deal with, people's bullshit, but in a lot of cases, I think that's better than dealing with corporate bullshit, because in open source HD video for FPV drones, at least you're all working towards the same goal. It's rad to see people doing projects like this, not to get rich, but to actually make something for the community that you generally have to pay a ton of money for. FPV started as an open source community sharing knowledge and hardware, so it makes me feel good to see that tradition being continued on in other places. But to get that good, you need that money, son. And that's where companies like DJI come in, and they can dump millions and millions of dollars on R&D and research. And while they will charge you, the consumer, a premium for it, a lot of times that tech can trickle down into the modding community and the open source community. So personally, even though I'm an anti-corpo street kid at heart, I can see some of the value that these big companies do bring to the hobby, being that you can take it apart and exploit it later when it gets older. Speaking of advancements in video, having better quality video and a more stable link allowed pilots to fly farther than they ever have before, and more importantly, it allowed them to get better penetration than they were previously used to. And this led to the creation of thousands and thousands of jobs using FPV. Gapit was personally the first person I saw that moved on from just making YouTube videos and flying drones for fun to actually filming Hollywood gigs. It was definitely a bittersweet day for all of us that enjoyed his content, but all of us were pretty stoked that he was about to get that Hollywood paycheck. Jet, Mr. Steele, and a few others were also early adopters to this newfound income in the industry. Now anybody with a Nevada and a Part 107 is trying to book gigs so they can pay their rent and buy some Burger King. And I think that's super cool. I'm really stoked that these fun little drones can turn often into careers for people. The regulations around them suck, but that's for another video. So many people that saw this, FPV drone thing on YouTube one day are now doing this as a career, as a good career, making money. I think it's awesome when anybody can turn a passion of theirs into income and escape something that would be otherwise soul crushing and monotonous. And that's just filming things with drone. I know people that have jobs scanning warehouse UPCs using a drone system, people that do agricultural work, spraying pesticides with large drones, not to mention all the artists out there that are getting work doing art for major FPV companies. Like, drones are now part of our daily lives, and there are so many different ways that we can generate income using them, and therefore better our positions in life. I mean, look at me. If you don't know, I was living in a squat, smoking crack when I got my first drone. Technically, it was a Hubsan X4. I just flew it around little line of sight. It took a little micro SD card, so I'd just go down to the train tracks and I'd fly over trains, and then I'd come back to my squat, put in my little laptop, and I'd watch those videos. That was my first drone. 10 years later, I'm a proud homeowner. I'm a father of a dog, 3 cats, and 2 lizards, and I don't do hard drugs or drink anymore at all. And I gotta say, I owe a lot of that to being obsessed with FPV, giving me something to put all that pent up energy and misplaced, addiction really helped me. Drones were the thing that I think got me to break some of my addictions. Well, maybe transfer my addictions to something else. I'm sure a lot of you that have, say, like a good tech job and make 6 figures a year would take a big cut in pay doing an FPV YouTube or gig work for a career. But for people like me who've never really made much more above the minimum wage some douchebag boss is legally required to pay them, This is nuts. My life drastically changed once I decided to turn FPV into my new career. Like I said, FPV was a reason for me to quit drinking and casual drug use. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think, if you just want to dabble in drugs, not heroin. If you want to dabble in drugs, it's perfectly healthy as long as you don't get strung out like a fucking chump. I think it's important to break out of your reality now and then so you don't get stuck in a mental rut. So do drugs like a CEO does drugs basically. But FPV gave me a focus, it gave me a drive, it gave me something to do, it gave me something to strive for. I wanted to get really good at drones. I wanted to make money doing it. So I worked towards that goal every day for years. And I had a damn good time doing it too. We used to kind of joke around and say FPV is therapy, but I think it's totally true. Flying drones around can be super good for mental health. I mean, who's upset while they're flying around, Do you ever think about your problems while you're flying? I highly doubt anybody is power looping a roof gap and being like, ah shit, I gotta change the oil, I got bills due, damn. No, you're trying not to fucking destroy your quad. FPV helps escape everyday bullshit. It's the therapist a lot of us are too proud to go see. For those 3+ minutes at a time, you have no bills, you have no worries, you have nowhere to be, you can just enjoy existing and the experience that is life, but through a fucking flying helicopter. I've had pretty good amount of people hit me up and let me know how FPV has literally saved their life, got them out of a depression, or just generally gave them a purpose in life. And I think that's pretty powerful. No other hobby I've been in or seen seems to have that kind of an impact on people, outside of maybe a religion, There really is something special about flying around drones in first-person view, whether it makes you feel like a bird, it just gives you that freedom, or it's some kind of direct to the brain ocular sensation that we all really enjoy. There's something special about FPV for real. And another thing that I love about FPV that I think is really good for mental health is all the meetups and events that you can go to. Rotor Riot's predatory $1,000 camping ticket aside, I am so excited for all these new drone events that I see popping up all over the country. I personally just got back from the We Bleed FPV Northeast Whoop Championships, and I had a freaking blast. I forgot just how much fun a whoop race or just an FPV meetup in general can be. If you've never been to a drone event, it's sick. There's just a ton of people that are just as obsessed with FPV as you are. Any stupid reference or any little gripe you have with anything, anybody there is going to know exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of refreshing to be able to nerd out to the max about something you're super passionate about with a bunch of other people that are just as passionate about that as you. And something I'm seeing a lot more of is people hosting these events. We've always had I.O., there's always been West Coast Throwdown and a few other ones. But now we have Beast of the East, we have the random Discord meetups that I do, we have the barbecues that you see every now and then. There's just a bunch of cool casual freestyle and racing events all the time because more and more people are getting into FPV and they want to hang out with other people that do FPV. I remember around 2016, 17, we used to dream of the day there was a freestyle circuit competition, kind of like a skating competition, one that travels around to a new city in each state. The same competitors come and they vie for points, and at the end of it, somebody's the winner, kind of like monster trucks do. And that dream seems to be getting closer and closer every summer. I mean, I would love to see a big sanctioned freestyle competition with big prize money that people can really go out and try for and fucking get paid. And you don't even have to do anything extravagant. Every single meetup that I've hosted has been 100% free for everybody. Most large cities and even cool little towns have at least one spot you can invite 20 of your friends to and do a barbecue, set up some gates, do some freestyle, do some racing. You can rent out venues and set up tiny whoop gates and just do a friendly race or time trials and invite a bunch of people. I've done these kind of guerrilla meetups in 5 different states, and all I did was pick a bando or a parking lot or an office park where, the locals say it's chill and they don't mind if it gets blown up. Send out the invites, get a barbecue, a cooler, and just fucking have fun and see what happens. Always have a backup spot though if you have people flying in for a guerrilla event. For me, these meetups are good because I talk to the majority of you online, and I like to put not only a face but a vibe with the screen name too. You know what I mean? Having a conversation with somebody through YouTube comments is a lot different than having one in real life. I think it's too easy to dismiss people or possibly just completely misunderstand what they were trying to say. When you meet people in real life, you can be like, okay, this is John, he's just kind of sassy or whatever. So when he leaves a YouTube comment telling you suck at drones and you should go die, that's just him, that's his way of being friendly. Shit like that. So all these events and meetups are really good for people who have only interacted online and through keyboards, a chance to really get to know each other in real life. And you're going to be hanging out with these people, doing a hobby that, like I said, we are all super obsessed with and are incredibly passionate about. And there's just something about that kind of bonds you with people, Another one of the bigger things that I think is going really well for FPV right now is just the quality in products. Holy shit, are things easy now. I know a lot of you don't like to build, but compared to 2016, this is a cakewalk. First of all, you have stacks and all-in-ones. We had power distribution boards with single ESCs that popped if you gave it throttle too fast. You have plug-and-play VTXs, every size of bind and fly. You have a goddamn motor wizard inside of Betaflight. That is insane to old people. And like I said in the beginning, headsets with video so good you could start your own Weapon X program. Shit, I'm even seeing DJI pilots buying analog setups, goggles and everything, just so they can fly whoops. The tech has gotten that much better. DJI pilots are flying analog and having fun with it. I wanted to say, I wrote down here, it's an exciting time to be an FPV, but really, when isn't it an exciting time to be an FPV? We always have cool shit coming out all the time. There's always some new technology being developed that everybody's excited for, or some new product that's just around the corner that everybody's stoked to get in on. The fact that this is a futuristic hobby means we're going to get that type of exponential growth. What's trendy, popular, and standard right now is going to get blown away by the next wave of products. When components shrink and companies can squeeze more resolution and features into the next generation of their products. As somebody who's been doing this for 8 years, I've seen a lot of gimmicks come and go. I've seen products that are fairly standard now when they were just getting their start. I've seen a lot of people come and go to. Sometimes, you know, a major figure that kind of just fades out of existence and popularity. Sometimes it's a friendly face that leaves a lasting impression on the hobby as a whole. One thing I think I want to leave y'all with is just what a profound impact this hobby has had on my life personally. I'm over a decade clean off casual drugs. I'm 5 years sober off of alcohol. And I've met so many people from so many walks of life doing FPV, traveling around, going to events, meeting a ton of people that it really, really does keep me grounded. I mean, shit, I'm a fucking Antichrist Antifa pothead, and last weekend I was flying whoops with a cop and having a fantastic time. The problems of daily life and the bullshit dividing lines that our society loves to create kind of just melt away when you're incredibly passionate about something and you can share that with another human being. FPV has helped a lot of people in a lot of ways, and I just wanted to take some time to talk about some of the more positive things that I've seen on the surface of it recently. I'm not afraid to call out bullshit when I see bullshit in the hobby, but sometimes it's too easy to focus on the negative while letting the positive things that are happening kind of fall to the wayside. So I really appreciate all of you watching today's video. If you'd rather hear me talk shit on people and get fake sued, you can watch this video right here. If you'd be so kind as to check out my Patreon right here. It allows me to continue making these weekly videos since I don't monetize by putting ads in front of my videos. I don't do any sponsorships or affiliate links from everybody. If I suck, I don't make money. Either way, I promise next time will be better. Thank you for watching today's video. Okay, bye.